Welcome to Financial Issues, where we help you steward faithfully by honoring God with your investments. Now listen in as we give you the practical tools and advice you need to become a biblically responsible investor.
This is Financial Issues, where we help you defund darkness and fund the light by investing with biblical integrity. Welcome to the show, everyone. It is Friday, and we're grateful to have each of you. Seth Udinsky, Sam Case, your host, Mark Manila. The whole gang's here, guys, and we're excited. Mark, welcome, brother.
Well, welcome, everybody. And I think we were calling this Flannel Friday, but I think we're going to change it to Financial Issues, Coffee with the Financial Issue Threesome. How's that?
That's great, Mark. Nice and long.
Yeah, right.
We'll figure out a fun way to shorten it for sure.
Yeah, we'll figure out Coffee with the Trio.
There you go.
The Financial Issues Trio.
I don't drink coffee during the show. It dries my mouth out, so I feel kind of left out.
Yeah. Well, guys, as the only member of the threesome wearing a flannel today, I just want to say that long live Flannel Friday. But thankfully, it is Focus Friday, Mark, right? And we're excited for that.
That's right. It is. And let's get focused.
Yeah, that means we focus on your calls and questions, folks. So we're spending the whole show talking about it. Call in right now. We'd love to talk to you. 610-363-1110. That's the number to call in. We also have overtime after the live show. Stay on financialissues.org and the FISM app, as well as our social streams, and you'll be able to get our overtime period there where we do more financial issues for an extra half hour. You're listening on the radio, watching on a TV outlet. Make sure you have access to our website or app to do that. First and foremost, though, guys, some really interesting and I think great news to open our Friday show this morning. Looks like the Fortune 500 companies, at least many of them, are abandoning the HRC. Sam, what can you tell us about this?
Running, screaming, and just absolutely fleeing the human rights campaign. That's that pro-LGBT group that bullies companies into being more pro-gay than they actually want to be.
And lies about it,
Yeah,
too.
then they do lie about it, too. They have a lot of different problems there. But according to their Corporate Equality Index, they saw a 65% drop in participation from Fortune 500 companies this year. It was at around 370 last year. That number's fallen all the way down to just above 130 this year. And it's not just Fortune 500 companies either. True, a lot of companies are still participating, but their level of our participation has radically fallen off. The number of companies earning perfect scores this year fell by over 200 in 2026, which is really impressive.
Absolutely impressive. And praise God. Praise you, Lord, and thank you for what's going on,
Yeah, Mark, what do you think about all this? How much do you think it has to do with President Trump's election? What about maybe the connection to the BRI movement in general?
Well, has BRI played a role? Absolutely. When you think about the billions of dollars from Christians who are awakening to the knowledge of what it means to be an investment steward over the last 20, 30 years, and how that money has moved from those corporations that compromise godly stewardship of their money, it had to have an impact. So absolutely, I think Financial Issues has had an impact. I think the partners of Financial Issues, their voice is being heard. And I think that's part of the reason that Trump got elected, is because people were absolutely tired of the direction that the liberals were leading this country. And it awoke a passion in those of us who love the Lord and want to honor him in all we do. And obviously our money talks, just like the other side's money talks. And our money talked Trump into the office. Our money talked to corporate boards and told them, hey, our petitions talked to them and said, hey, we woke them up and they realized, you know what? We shouldn't be spending corporate dollars on using and abusing people, causing them to stumble on their way to God or in their relationship with God. We need to get out of the way and get back, spend our money on what we are called to do by prospectus, and that's to manage our company in a way that we care for our employees, care for our clients, and produce quality goods. And if companies just get back to that, they will thrive. And they're seeing that. The boards are realizing they're wasting money trying to just get to look good on some HRC or some small percentage of American attitude papers. They're realizing that they had been blinded by the Biden administration with all the money that was being poured into promoting this kind of stuff. Part of the reasons I think some of them actually participated, because I think there was grants out there and stuff for corporations that were lining up with the LGBTQ administrative and the Democratic administration push for that. So now we see the money pulled away. Now we see them waking up. It's pulled away by the government. It's pulled away by BRI investors, and more people are waking up to investing with integrity because of you, our partners. And I want to congratulate you.
Mark, it's great stuff, man. It really is such a reminder, folks, that we have got to be vigilant and on guard against kind of what I'm seeing, Mark, is these insidious, underhanded ways that godless movements try to undermine the truth. Human rights is a good thing, right, guys? Like, I think we can agree with that. Defending human right is really good. We do that as people who are pro-life. We defend the right to live that humans have all the way from the womb up until their dying breath. So this sounds good, but really what it is it's an insidious cover-up of an organization that wants to gatekeep and force companies. In some ways, it's almost like they're holding them hostage to bow down to LGBTQ and other leftist agendas.
Right, and it's not like that agenda wants to just have their way for themselves. They want to impose it. They want you to pay taxes, those taxes to go to their organization, to kill babies, to do surgeries on children that are irreversible with transgender surgeries. They want to take that money and promote their stuff and say, you can't shop here if you don't agree with what we say. We're going to sue you if you don't make a cake that has some sort of sexual implication, immoral sexual indication on it. There's just all sorts of ugliness. They want to impose it on all of us. They want to rule us. They want to make us not just accept them, but tell them that we believe they're right. And we don't. You know why? Because God doesn't. We're going to stand with God. We're going to stand as a country with God. And just the remnant that has done so is having such an incredible impact. I'm hoping it will cause more and more to rise up and invest with biblical integrity and to lead their lives as a steward should, honoring God in all they do. It's starting, folks. It's starting. Let's keep the momentum going.
Speaking of momentum, guys, I'm jumping around in our show notes a little bit, Sam. I hope that's all right. But why don't we jump to that?
You can't.
I can't do that. Why don't we jump to that other story here? Because Mark, you hit it on the head. The momentum is moving, and Sam, it appears we're seeing now possibly the beginning of the end for transgender surgeries as well.
This is a remarkable story, Seth. So the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, who thought we'd be talking about them on financial issues. Right. But what's crazy about this, on Tuesday, they became the first major American medical organization to come out against gender transition, gender mutilation surgeries for minors, as explained by National Review. The new guidance acknowledges there is really no evidence to prove that these irreversible gender surgeries have any long-term benefits for kids. Now, you might be asking, why is this happening? Is it because they're just out of the goodness of their own heart? Do they have a come to Jesus moment? Well, as our friend R. Alley likes to say, it's all about the money, because it just so happens there was a recent lawsuit where a young woman won $2 million in a medical malpractice case against doctors who recommended and performed these gender surgeries on her when she was just 16 years old. Legal analyst Jonathan Turley, he says this could be the model for future lawsuits. On top of that, he says there's more than a dozen of these cases, and detransitioner Chloe Cole has commented on this as well, saying that this could be the beginning of the end. Here she was on Fox News the other day.
I think that $2 million is not nearly enough to compensate for the damages that these doctors have done to my generation. I think that it would only be right if next to every single doctor, every single clinic that's been involved in this has their wallets completely drained. They're all thrown in prison with the keys thrown out. But I think that $2 million, this, especially in a blue state like New York, this bodes well for the rest of the 28 cases, including my own, of all the children who have been harmed and are seeking legal justice.
I think she said there could probably, in the end, be up to maybe 1,000 of these cases, maybe even more in the next couple months.
Preach it, Chloe. Preach it. We want to hear more of that. And what a wonderful thing it is to hear this. I don't know if you remember, but when I first came on, I mentioned my belief that there's going to be a lot of lawsuits in this area, but also in BRI, where somebody who went to their advisor or their rep, the registered rep, and said, hey, I'm a Christian, I want to invest with biblical integrity. And then they went and started managing, their rep starts managing the money, and they find out later that they're in all sorts of anti-biblical responsible funds and or stocks. And I think that people are going to start suing their reps, going to start suing their advisors for these things. And there could be millions of dollars in there. You know, over the years, the left has always, you know, if they lost money, they'd just sue you for losing money and pretend like you said you wouldn't. Well, that's a lie. But this isn't a lie. This is the truth, and it's a standing that you have. I'm so happy about this good news. You would think it's Winning Wednesday. It's not. It's Focus Friday, and we're going to get to your questions when we come back.
If a woman sees her baby on ultrasound, it doubles the likelihood that she'll choose life. On top of that, we share the gospel of Jesus Christ with her. This is why you should support preborn.
Then they sat me down. If you were to die today, do you think you would go to heaven? And I was like, no. Keeping the child was my first stepping stone. And ever since then, God has cleaned me up from the inside out.
Help support women in need. Go to preborn.com/FISM.
There are moments. Land.com. Read carefully before investing.
My wife and I help lead a Crossroads Kids Club, and one of the girls, she said, Mr. Dave, you keep talking about like you didn't really believe in Jesus and you were like dead or something, and then like you believed in Jesus and then you're like alive, and I want to receive that. And so we like just prayed there in our group to receive Jesus and owning this idea of life with Jesus for the first time.
Help reach kids with the hope of the gospel. Visit reachourschools.com.
Give us a call, folks. 610-363-1110. Focus Friday. We want to hear from you. Of course, you'll have extra time to join as well because we are doing overtime once again. Can't wait for it, brothers. But before all of that, guys, today's show brought to you in part by our friends at Samaritan Ministries. We're so grateful for them. You know, we were talking in that last segment, guys, about seeing the transgender surgery movement hopefully on its deathbed. Samaritan Ministries does a great job of protecting health sharing dollars from that kind of stuff. A lot of the money in big healthcare is unfortunately used to fund things like that or abortions or things like that, but not with Samaritan Ministries. They offer great protection for Christians there. So check them out, SamaritanMinistries.org. Okay, Mark, let's talk some more about good news for taxpayers, shall we? We're in our crash course for the new tax laws of the big, beautiful bill, and we got chapters 9 and 10 today. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think chapter 9 is one that you really liked. I think it is. As you were studying for your CFP, you actually went through that. So why don't I just turn that over to you?
That sounds great, Mark. Yeah. So, folks, Chapter 9, we're looking at the estate and gift tax exemption. So, basic tax, the basic estate tax exclusion is rising. This amount is rising to $15 million per individual. Last year, that number was just under $14 million. So, this is a great little increase here. The married amount as well, with proper planning, married couples might effectively shield up to $30 million from federal estate taxation. Now, Mark, obviously, when we're talking in these numbers here, these are for higher net worth individuals. But at the same time, don't count yourself out if you're a younger person, but you're not at that level yet, because this is estate planning after all, Mark. So this is end of life planning. So this is a fantastic thing that we're seeing here. Really just allowing, again, Mark, it's for more shields for people when they're passing along kind of that final tax that they pay. I always found it absolutely ridiculous, Mark, that we have to pay a tax when we die.
Let's see, we pay a tax on, we pay a tax on when we earn it.
Yeah.
Then we pay a tax on when we spend it. And then when we die, we have to pay a tax on the things that we paid a tax on twice before.
It's ridiculous.
To pass it on to our children. Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's crazy. Yeah. And I'm so glad that they put this back up. When I entered the industry, I think the exemption was $12 to $15 million.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're barely getting back to that. If we index that, it should be now somewhere around 50 million.
You know, Seth, you know how the ancient Greeks used to put a coin in with the dead? We all thought that was because of their religion, but probably they were just trying to keep the taxes away from the government.
Exactly right. Absolutely. Yeah. But Mark,
we're going to do more on inheritance, how to avoid inheritance tax, how to make that work. There's so many tricks and trades to be able to do that. The tax law has plenty written into it so that those who have the means to hire attorneys and accountants can do it. But we can share those tricks as well so people can go out and maybe do a little bit for themselves. If you know who this really affects is, let's say you're a farmer. If you're a decent farmer, you may have $39 in your bank account because the crops didn't work so well, but you might have $60 million of land and equipment. And to pass that on to your children, you have to jump through all sorts of loops so that it doesn't have to be sold off to pay your estate taxes. This really helps there. This really helps.
It's awesome, Mark. And you know, Mark, it's a good thing that we're thinking about this, because I know from my perspective as a young person, just thinking, let's think just numbers here for 1 second. You spend your whole life trying to build wealth and build wealth and build wealth. But at the same time, you don't want to overshoot to the point where you get slammed with these taxes at death. So it's about building and then pulling back so you can stay under that number. It's a tricky thing.
It's not about pulling back. It's about getting to a point to where you can afford the right kind of counsel to help you arrange things so that it doesn't go to the government. Remember, with to whom much is given, much is expected. So you're expected, if God has blessed you with large amounts of money, tens of millions of dollars, he expects you to find the godly, wise counsel. The wise as a serpent, gentle as dove, counsel to help you to pass that on while you're alive and when you pass to the proper places that will carry on honoring God. You know, I want to get on to the new SALT deduction, but I'd rather, since we're Focus Friday, jump in and talk to, is it Dennis?
It looks like it's Denise, Mark. We have Denise calling from North Carolina. Yep.
Welcome, Denise. Glad you're here this morning. I see you have a question for us.
Wonderful advice. Yes.
Oh, praise God.
I have let procrastination and fear of the value market being overvalued keep me out by about 48%. But over the last 2 years, I've had 20% increase. So your guys' advice works even when we're lazy.
A good lazy return. Praise God for that, right, Denise?
Oh, yes. I praise God for everything. He has put me in a wonderful situation where I really don't, unless a critical situation happens, I really wouldn't need to take anything out of my IRA, but it's about $750. And I've decided that for my sleep factor, I would rather dollar cost average than go in all at once. And my question is, do I divide each stock position by a 6 and go in that much every month if I want to do it over 6 months, or how would you recommend it?
Oh, so I don't know how many stocks you have. I don't know what it is. But yeah, if you want a dollar cost average over 6 months, you just divide the amount you have to go in by 6, and then you deploy that answer, that 1/6 each month, into multiple stocks. If you're dollar costing averaging into stocks you already own, then you would divide it by the number of stocks there. If it's new stocks, then you have to calculate again. Is it a 3% position of your total portfolio you want it to be, or a 1%? A lot of people will go in slower with just 1% and slowly raise it to 3% of contribution. So you got a little bit of math to do on it. It's not that hard. If you had $60,000, you put $10,000, you deploy $10,000 a month for the next 6 months. You divide that $10,000 by the number of stocks or the number of investments you're going to deploy it into. And each of those, you don't want to put too much money, so any one of them is way over your asset allocation amount. Did that help? I'm not sure if I explained that correctly.
Oh, you did an excellent job. Thank you. And again, thank you guys for being there for us.
And by the way, I have no problems with dollar cost averaging right now instead of dumping it all in. The markets are a bit overvalued, and we're seeing that they're fragile. It doesn't mean they're not going to go up. As in the partner call yesterday, we really discussed the importance that we have a lot of foundation laid by this administration right now for things to move forward in the right direction. But with the overvalued of the run-up of the exuberance we had with such a great administration putting things into place and getting things ready for this kind of growth, those markets ran up way too high. Now they're starting to pull back a little bit, which is good, but it still is fragile. So going in slowly is a good idea, Denise. Thank you for bringing that question up. And so all of our listeners can hear this and realize that we don't have to knee-jerk reaction. We move at the rate that God calls each and every one of us individually to do. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, and you too. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Denise.
Right. God bless.
Mark, Proverbs 13:11 says, a righteous man builds his wealth little by little. I think you can apply that to getting into the markets right now too, right? It's little by little. It doesn't need to be all at once. It can be little by little, right?
Right. And it's just good. Like I said during I wish more people would. I mean, I know we had a whole lot of people in that partner meeting yesterday, but I wish more and more would get onto it, because that's where we go a little bit into the weeds and we talk about the things that are going on. And despite I think it's like 99-1, the news is anti-America, anti-Trump, anti-God, anti-everything. It's negative. I mean, it could be, somebody found a cure for cancer despite Trump's blah, blah, blah. That is how it would read, And it's just ugliness out there, especially in this year. We have to stay focused on what is working, what is winning. We just saw the pushback against the trans. In our first segment, we just saw the pushback against the transgendering surgeries and the lawsuits that are starting to be won by the millions of dollars for what they have done to children. Yes. Amen.
In New York, no less.
In New York, no less.
In the heart of darkness.
And we're going to see more and more of that. We saw that HRC is being brought to their knees by losing 2/3 of the people filling out their despicable surveys and spending corporate dollars on supporting that kind of stuff. Yes, and amen. We're moving in the right direction. Let's keep that moving forward. We got just a minute or two left. I would like to get on to the re-engineered SALT deduction. This is really good. The traditional $10,000 cap on state and local tax deduction has been increased to around $40,000. And it applies to many taxpayers. But again, remember what I said at the beginning? Much of the big, beautiful bill was for lower and middle class income earners. This one takes it up to upper middle class as well, meaning to those in the low 500,000 range. It starts phasing out and going back to the 10,000 cap between $500 and maybe $550,000 income range. So it's still for the middle and the lower class. Anybody who says Trump's only for billionaires and millionaires is wrong. This is a lot of good stuff for you and me and the average American, and which is 90% which is a large portion. Like even being able to simplify your taxes, where they're estimating about 90% will be better off just filing a simple form now than going through all the drudgery of the 900 pages of filing a tax return to get all the deductions you used to try and get. So good things are happening, folks. We have a lot of reason to go into this weekend celebrating and being happy and glorifying God. And we have to give all the glory to God. Some would say, Mark, financial issues had a lot to do with the BRI thing and the HRC thing and the direction we're going, the LGBTQ trans stuff that's going on that is turning to the right direction. Yes, we did. But we wouldn't even be able to be on the air without the Lord. We wouldn't be able to do anything. He's the one who gives us the insights, the ability, the wisdom, the strength to do all this. We need to give all glory to God. And I hope you're doing that with us. And I hope you call in and let us know about that. 610-363-1110. That's 610-363-1110. I think we got a couple of lines open. And when we come in, we're going to dig right into answering your question. So give us a call. We'll see you in a moment.
In a world where financial decisions can feel overwhelming, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But what if there is a way to align your financial goals with your deepest values? Financial Issues has helped us navigate the complex world of finance through a biblical lens. By prioritizing and investing in a way that honors God, Financial Issues has empowered us to focus on what truly matters: our family, our faith, and our future. With Financial Issues by our side, we can invest knowing that our financial decisions are in line with our values. Take the first step today and become a Financial Issues partner to access rich online resources, training tools, and guidance for biblically responsible investing. Head over to financialissues.org and learn how to invest your money in a way that honors God. That's financialissues.org.
In the last 10 to 15 years being in ministry, being married, something that has been constant in our lives is Samaritan Ministries. As we've moved, we've had babies, we've had different things come up, we have just been able to rely on Samaritan in ways that we never really even thought about before becoming members.
Our heart's desire is to plant roots and be in a place for a really long time. It's how we were raised. We see the benefits of that, but we also see the open-handedness of being used by the Lord wherever He calls, because we just assumed when we started pursuing church planting, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. And with the Lord, sometimes you find out it looks a lot more like this. And yet, Samaritan was with us through the entire thing.
We didn't have to look into, we have to change insurances now because we've moved states or whatever the case may be. And it's just been a real blessing to us in different phases of life.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Colleen.
And we're the Gen X.
And we're Samaritan members.
Every day, kids all across America are coming to school with some kind of hidden pain.
I've seen kids come in who are just so confused about what's right and what's wrong, just having no idea that God loves them. And this just breaks my heart. Crossroads has the opportunity to bring the Word of God right into the public school, to reach children right where they are.
And when we see that happen, we see God changing lives.
We want to see kids not only come to Christ, but pursue a lifelong relationship with Him. And so local churches are uniquely positioned to disciple those children as they become young adults and through their lifespan.
Crossroads comes alongside a church and provides that church with a club structure, curriculum, training, and ongoing coaching for them to run these outreaches in public schools.
If you are burdened for the children of America, consider making a donation to Crossroads Kids Club. For more information, visit reachourschools.com. That's reachourschools.com.
Welcome back, folks. Great to be here with you today on the show. We hope you'll join us by calling in. Call in at 610-363-1110. Be the best way to do it. Mark, we've got Keith from Texas is calling in right now.
Welcome, Keith. Glad to have you on the show. What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, I tell you, yesterday was a present from heaven. That conference call was unbelievable.
Oh,
I hope you do a lot more just like that.
Don't make me blush on the air, Keith.
Oh, I tell you, I live in a 55 plus, and I moved in here, and I came in naive thinking, hey, they're all old like me, and they're all conservative. Boy, was I wrong. And we go down and have coffee, and I got to listen to all this stuff, and I thought, okay, now I got ammunition.
There you go. And by the way, that call, the conference call for partners, it will be up or is up, Seth, already on the website.
Keith,
so if you want to re-listen
if you missed anything and you need to go back and listen to it, man, just go to the partner conference call page and you can listen to it again.
I tell you what, I'm already transcribing it, so if you want a copy, I'll send it to you.
That's
Keith,
awesome.
That's great, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to let you know that I appreciate it.
Thank you. Did you have a question too?
No, I worked myself out of a question.
Okay, well, praise God. Well, thank you for those kind words. We really appreciate it. God bless.
Okay.
Thank you for being part of the Financial Issues family.
Yep. And Keith, if you've got a question, brother, always feel free to call back, man. It's great to get to hear from you. Folks, 610-363-1110. And yes, if you missed yesterday's conference call, I agree with Keith. It was a real good one, Mark. And if you want to go back and listen to it, you can do that. I'd say wait until after overtime, and then you can go back and listen to the conference call. But you can do it at your leisure. Just go to the
maybe they're so good
website.
they can listen to both at the same time.
That's pretty impressive. Go to the Financial Issues website, and you can just go to the Partner Hub, and bottom right-hand side is the conference call button. You'll click, you'll see today's conference call is the top one there. Again, that's for partners only. So if you're hearing this and you want to listen to what Keith just mentioned or what we've been talking about, but you can't get access to it, just become a partner today. It'd be a great thing to do. Mark, we've got a question actually from someone who is not a partner, but is asking a really good question. This is Elizabeth. She's 77. Okay. She says, hey, Mark, we're 77. My husband and I worked exceptionally hard, lived frugally, in excellent physical and cognitive health, and we want to pass an estate to our next two generations. So we set up a living trust back in 2020 to avoid probate. We want to protect financial assets and are totally inexperienced in investing. We've listened periodically to your radio broadcast. We feel that we should learn the process, but we're currently buried with responsibilities for the immediate future. So that's 1 to 2 years. What vehicle would you recommend to give us another year before leaping into the program? I recall Dan Celia didn't recommend annuities, and CDs are currently at best less than 4%. We've considered Ron Blue, we've considered Timothy Fund, but it's rather expensive, and we don't know how easily we could cut ties later. So what insight would you have for Elizabeth, Mark?
There's a lot in there. Let's start on some of the backdrop of all this. First of all, cutting ties. Well, cutting ties with Timothy Plan or Ron Blue, you can always do that. If you're with an advisory service and or you're investing direct at a mutual fund, you can always sell or move those accounts to a brokerage account, which you'll probably want to do in the future because you want to list your brokerage account as part of either in beneficiaries to avoid probate or put it in your living trust. Sometimes I like the beneficiary perspective better. I'm not an attorney. I've had attorneys tell me that there could be challenges by family members or something to beneficiary, but in my 35, 40 years of being in the financial industry, of being a financial planner, of being a money manager, I have never seen a challenge like against a beneficiary deed that stood. So I don't think that I don't want to give a legal opinion, but I think that beneficiary designations work real well. But let's also look at the idea. Larry, the Burkett people, not Burkett, I'm sorry, Ron Blue.
Yep.
Organization. Ron is no longer part of that. He's sold off from that for one thing. And secondly, they're not truly fully BRI. So be careful with that. If you go into Ron Blue, you are that organization, you want to make it very clear to them that you want strict BRI. Otherwise, they will be peppering it with kinda BRI, some funds that are kinda BRI, but not fully. You want to make sure that you that they stay strictly BRI. Going to the Timothy plan, you have the ability to do that, and it will always be strictly BRI. They are the ones who started the movement. Art, myself, and a few others. We started the movement. Art started the Timothy plan. I started Integrity Investors to give advice to individuals and manage money for them. Art started Timothy plan to create the investment vehicles that people who love the Lord and wanted to honor him in all they do, including their investments, could use. And I just think it's a wonderful thing to go in that direction. Now, all that said and done, I'd like to talk a little bit about what to avoid right now. I think you brought it up, but long-term annuities with surrender schedules, you definitely don't want to get into those. You only got a couple of years. Now, there are some annuities that are short-term surrender charges, but I don't see any reason to pay all that extra expense to be inside an insurance product for a few years. I just don't see it right now. You want to avoid any products that limit access or create pressure for you, definitely. And be careful about high advisory fee relationships for the next couple of years. There's no need to do that. Maybe what you want to do is just do a core strategy. And I know you say that CDs and money markets aren't paying that much, but actually, historically, they're paying pretty good, especially the high interest money markets. And since you're wanting to park it, and since you don't have the time to dig into it, do any management, you could do that. You could maybe use government only money market funds for the safety, short-term treasury ladders, or maybe even, like I said, high interest money markets. Yes, the interest rates might be coming down, but that might be a little prod to start moving a little faster. Here's another thing I think that would be very helpful for you to do, and that would be to go ahead and become a partner of Financial Issues right now. You don't have to dig in right off the bat, but it would give you access to the Financial Issues portal. And when you're sitting there in the evening and you have a little time, you could go in and watch some of the videos, some of the educational videos, or you could look at the broad list, and you can look and start understanding, what does a buy mean? What does a sell mean? What does a hold mean? You could start looking at the different asset allocation models and start to understand why that diversity matters. And then you could also write in again and say, hey, I'm looking at this and I don't understand this, and we can help you along the way. It could be preparing your mind and your heart for when you're ready to dig in, you're ready, and then you can just jump in and do it. And who knows, that might come quicker than you expect. So I think that would be a good idea. There's some other things you might want to do. The Timothy plan has a defensive fund you could use. It wouldn't hurt to get in that. ETFs are low cost. They have a handful of ETFs you could use. Yes, some of them have more market exposure, but who knows? There might be. And I can't say that I have any. I can assure when these are coming out, but maybe there's some more Timothy plan ETFs that'll be more in the income area. Or at least there's rumors out there. We'll see very soon. So you'll have other options of things that you could invest in very soon as well. So I love what you're saying, and I love that you're prioritizing your time, because I know how hard it is to get to your portfolio and to manage it all by yourself. But the asset allocation models should make it easier for you, especially if you go into a fund model where you can pick a half dozen funds, populate it, and be done with it for quite a while. And then maybe once every 6 months, reallocate or rebalance that portfolio so you don't become, so that one fund doesn't start being way overbearing in the rest of the portfolio. So it could be really simple if you want it to be, or it could be as complex as you want it to be. But really, getting your mind in the right place is the right thing to do. So I say, for the little bit that the partnership costs, to get into it right away so you can, at your own pace, start preparing your mind and your heart for the time that you're deciding to jump in. In the meantime, I would say a money market account, even if it's only 4% or 3.5%, would be a good place to store that money till you're ready to do something with it. And then maybe what you'll do is just take a little bit and throw it into one fund or the other as you start playing with the partners back in. The partners part of the financial issues membership, and that'd be really great because a partnership has education, it has tools, it just helps you to get there and helps you to be as involved or as little involved as you want to be. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you along the way. I love your thoughts. Do it any way you need to do it. I hope these help you with the decision to move forward and prepare yourself so you're ready when God says it's time. And speaking of time, obviously, we're coming up to a time where we don't have a lot of time left for calls. So 610-363-1110 if you want to get into the next segment and or be ready for overtime. Give us a call, 610-363-1110.
Preborn is making motherhood possible for thousands of moms across America.
I found out that I was pregnant, and my family, they were like, no, you're not having this baby. I met Miss Linda. She told me about all the great resources, like they offer free baby clothes, they offer free classes, stuff for her mom. She prayed with me. She told me to ask God to, guide me to my decision. She made it completely like my choice. She offered to get me an ultrasound, and I found out I was 6 weeks pregnant. That's where I very first heard the heartbeat of my son, and I was told, whatever I gotta do, whatever comes my way, I'm just gonna, have this baby. It was really a great thing that I was led to the choice to keep on.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
There are moments in life that before investing.
The opinions and recommendations expressed on this program do not necessarily represent the opinions of the station or any of the program sponsors. Additionally, all products or services offered by the program sponsors may not be known by the program.
Folks, it's been a great Focus Friday, but it's not over yet. We've got a whole nother segment of the live show, and then after that, it's Financial Issues Overtime. Just a reminder, if you're listening on a radio stream or you're watching on a TV outlet that's not the Financial Issues website or the app, you need to make sure that you can get to the website, the app, or one of our social streams at the top of this hour because we're going to continue Overtime, but it's exclusively on our hosted platforms. So make sure that you have access to the website or the app. Be a great thing to do. And give us a call, folks. You got plenty of time. 610-363-1110. Mark, we got an interesting question here from Brock. Brock is 50. It's not as much of a question, more just a comment. But he's saying, Mark, I really enjoyed the interview you guys did with Kevin Freeman on gold currency. This was back on January 21st, if you missed it, folks. It was a wonderful interview. I really enjoyed it, Mark. And Brock's saying, just to clarify, it sounds to me that at this point, we can't use metals as currency yet without paying federal taxes until a state approves it as legal tender and gets the system to set it up to use in a debit card form. I listened to it several times. That's what I pulled from the interview. Very exciting to see the potential of sound money coming. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think, Brock, you heard it, the interview pretty right, actually. Today, gold and silver are treated as property and not as currency. So there's still taxes on it, federal taxes. There seems to be this strong movement, as you've heard in that show, to in many states. I think he said there was like 6 states already.
Yeah, Mark, I got him here. It's Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Arkansas, and Missouri are the ones that are really moving towards this. But then there's some other states that are a little bit, a couple steps behind.
Yeah, but they're coming on quickly, and but there's other things that need to be done. So we may see that really soon, and I'm excited about it too, Brock, because I think that this world, especially as crazy as it is, as manipulative as it is, as immoral as it is, we can't trust a dollar that doesn't have anything back in it. We can't trust the central banks to be in our best interest, but in their own power and greed grab. We have to have some checks and balances. So I love the direction we're going in. I'm looking for that debit card system to be in place, and so we can all use our gold, our precious metal, a banking system that will retain a value, that will be strong. So thank you for listening to that, and thank you for bringing it up.
Brock, during that interview, if you go back and listen to it, you'll hear this. I had asked Kevin a question about how we get the legs behind this in our states, and Mark, one of the things he reminded me was this is a bipartisan effort, which is kind of cool. We don't see too many real bipartisan efforts these days, but this is one of them. Even non-red states, there's a chance that this could happen too. So,
and the way it happens is when individuals like you and me start communicating with our representatives and our senators, and we let them know we want this to happen, and we get involved. We take our stewardship of our country seriously, and we get involved by either getting behind those people running for office who are godly people, who are solid in what they do, who love our nation and love our God and love the morals and the righteousness that come with that. And we get behind them, and or you run for office. And I want to encourage as many people. I know most people say we're not going to do that, but I got an op-ed coming out about stewardshiping our nation, and hopefully you all take a read on that when it does hit in a week or so.
It's great, Mark. Appreciate the question, Brock. Karen's up next, Mark. Karen's, and by the way, folks, phone lines are open, 610-363-1110. Call in right now. We'll get to you either now or during overtime. Karen, Mark, is asking, hey, Mark, I managed my daughter's Roth IRA for her. It's only $11,000 right now, and she's not going to add to it now because she has a Roth 401k. She's in the fund model and allocated correctly except for defensive funds in the Israel fund. For those, there is a $49.95 trading fee and a $2,500 minimum, which she can't meet right now. Is there anything else she can use for the defensive position? I've lumped the Israel allocation in with the international. What else could Karen's daughter use, Mark?
Oh yeah, you can create your own. You can create your own defensive position. I know it won't be exactly the Timothy Plan one, but you could use something like the Timothy Plan fixed income for a portion. You could use a treasury type of ETF like BIL for a portion, and then you could put your part of the defensive position is the gold that physical gold that the Timothy Plan is holding in that mutual fund. So you could actually buy the physical gold. We go with the Sprott physical gold, PHYS. Let me break it down. Let me just think about it. Maybe 15% in the gold, maybe 35% in the Timothy Plan fixed income, and then maybe 35% in the BIL. That would give you a defensive kind of feeling for that slice, that slice of the asset allocation. Hope that helps.
Mark, when you're referring
was
to
there more? What else was there?
That's actually a great. That's a perfect answer to the question. I had a follow up, if that's all right, Mark. When we're talking about defensive funds, like you said, these are funds that might lean more towards a bit of a safer play as opposed to super ultra aggressive Sam Case style investing. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
The Sam Case fund. We need to brand that on the website.
Yeah, the Sam Case fund.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're leaning to a more conservative portfolio, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Slow, steady growth is a good idea. I do believe she mentioned the Israeli fund.
She did.
Also,
she did.
And I get the problems with the distribution on that. We've been fighting that for a long time. If you want some exposure to some of those companies that are in the Israeli Common Fund, you could just use the Timothy Plan International ETF. It should have some of those in there. I would keep it as a smaller portion. But, right now, if you're a partner and you were on the partner call, you would have heard how money is moving to international funds. And it might still be a good time to be loading up a little bit on that. Remember, there's volatility, there's risks you don't have in U.S. Stocks. For example, money exchange. That can always affect. If the dollar keeps getting stronger or weaker, it affects the returns on those international funds. But I think it's still a good idea. And I love your question. Thank you so much.
And it depends on our brokerage she's in, too, because some of them still let you buy the Israeli fund. I think it's only Schwab, right, that has the problems.
Yeah, we've...
well, no, Schwab and Fidelity.
Yeah,
Fidelity has the problem too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when that Mark and Sam, it kind of that was the thing that I think made us wonder. Okay, is this a broader issue than it's just Schwab, for example?
Yeah, it is
something against the Israel fund. Yeah,
there it might be, but it also. We'll get it sooner or later. It'll all come out.
Absolutely. Mark, here's a similar question. William asking a good one. He said, I tried to invest in several Timothy funds, the iShare versions of each one from my Fidelity IRA account. I found out, again, like Karen, the minimum is $2,500 on each one. My portfolio is around $60,000, and I didn't want to invest that much. Is there another way I can invest in these mutual funds?
Yeah, there is. Let's clarify a little bit here. One of the things is this is a share class issue, not a fund issue for that. I don't know why they want a 2,500 minimum. Oh, I do. It's an iShare. So iShares were designed for larger purchases to begin with. They were designed for iShare, meaning institutional shares. So they're expecting hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to go in at once into these. Therefore, they don't charge as much. That's why they're the cheapest share class. Fidelity enforces a $2,500 minimum on iShares. A-shares are, my understanding is A-shares are available on Fidelity without a minimum investment. I might be wrong on that, but you might want to try that for one. If that doesn't work, you might want to buy it directly at the fund and then transfer it into your account. They'll allow that to happen without you hitting the 25. But at the fund, you can't buy the iShares unless you're putting in huge amounts as well. So, we were always going to have it, but you can buy iShares. If for some reason they won't let you buy A-shares at Fidelity, you could always buy it direct at the fund, keep it there, and or then transfer it to your Fidelity account. So, again, the iShares have lower ongoing expenses. They are designed for larger allocation. They typically have higher. A-shares typically have a higher expense ratio, and they may include some front-end sales load. So platforms, they don't make as much money, so they make it another way by having minimums and or fees up front to buy into it. That's the bottom line on those.
Mark, if people have questions about, particularly buying from Timothy Plan directly from them, would it be a good idea for them to call Timothy Plan?
Oh, you know what? Absolutely.
Yep.
Calling Timothy Plan is wonderful. You just say, hey, I have a question about opening an account to buy Timothy Plan. They'll get you just some really wonderful people. They're generally just happy and helpful, more beyond any company that I call. When I call some of the major platforms, they're like, why are you bothering me when I call Timothy?
What are you, a customer?
Hi, how can I help you?
That's right. I second that, Mark. I love their customer service.
Yeah,
They're
fantastic.
Wonder
if the joy of the Lord has anything to do with that.
You think maybe it could have a little bit to do with that. Are we actually at the end of the show? Could that possibly be real?
Well, kinda, because we have a little something called overtime coming up.
That's right.
That's right. It's time for overtime, and we need to light up the lines right now. We have 4 lines available: 610-363-1110, 610-363-1110. Get these lines lit up. So within the next minute or so, we're going to be into overtime, and it's going to be a party, folks. Don't go away. We'll be with you in just one moment. And thank you for loving the Lord. Thank you for investing with biblical integrity.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation going under.
Thank you for joining us. This has been an FISM production.